I just wanted to come on here and do a quick video discussing how validated Colin Kaepernick is and pretty much how vindicated he pretty much is at this point. I can honestly say that a lot of people gave Colin Kaepernick the benefit of the doubt when he did his protest 4 years ago. But I said anybody who is willing to do that and sacrifice their career the way that they did, even though they didn't want to leave the sport and profession in which they worked so hard to get to, and take all those slings and arrows and still remain humble and not lash out like people may have wanted him to do. You have to, he has the mood of a Buddhist monk to have dealt with all of that for the last 4 years, and in a way still kind of dealing with it. I mean, you gotta think, going back 4 years, this guy was on top of the world. He was doing his thing, and it all came crashing down one day, literally probably within a couple of months, because he decided to stand up, or should I say kneel, for what he felt was right. It started, like, if you remember going back, it all initially started off with him sitting out the national anthem altogether. He wasn't even kneeling. But then a military personnel decided that he was going to just talk to him, pull him to the side, and they was basically saying, I understand what it is that you're doing. And Colin Kaepernick said, okay, I'll compromise a little bit. I'll kneel. I won't sit. And it became almost a symbolic thing because more and more people latched on to what he was doing. But then, of course, it got the attention of a lot of media outlets, and they were saying how un-American he was, that is not as very un-American. He's not a patriot and all types of things. It's disrespectful to the military, even though it was a military personnel that pulled him to the side and basically agreed with what he was doing, but wanted to alter it just a little bit. Literally masking why he was doing what he was doing. And that's because that was his way of acknowledging police brutality in America. Fast forward 4 years later, look at where we are. Look at what's going on around the establishment. Look at what has gone on around the globe in just a matter of a little over a week since the brutal death of George Floyd. And not just George Floyd, but look at the people who have been taken out due to police brutality since he did what he did. A lot has happened in 4 years, but like I said, this is the powder keg right here. This is the straw that has finally broken the camel's back. Colin Kaepernick has been vindicated. He is valid. Has been one of the most consistent people in the last 4 years. Some people can't even be valid, can't even be consistent for 4 days. Now, a lot of people were scared because it was like, I don't know, Colin Kaepernick, he has a white mother and a black father, and he was adopted and raised by a white family and grew up in the suburbs. He doesn't know the struggle and everything like that. Apparently, he does. What's a shame is that there are many people who come from two black parents and will tap dance, shuck and jive all the way until they can get to that cooned out heaven in the sky. Like Jiminy Hippo Cricket, Stephen A. for Asshole Smith, the Coonstress, Cubic Zirconia and Polyester, and a gang of others. Brandon Fakem, that's my nickname for him. And so many others. But see, they thought he was just doing this for attention, but then they found out that he wasn't. Then they got mad because Nike had struck a deal with him, to keep some money flowing in his pockets, but he's actually started programs. They don't talk about that because they don't want to give him any credit. They wanted to keep hover a dark cloud over this man's head. They were so upset by this. How dare this football player who makes millions of dollars a year playing in the sport cry about racism and police brutality? That's the same thing that Jiminy Hippo Cricket tried to pull with LeBron James when LeBron James was facing racism when someone had spray painted the N-word on his property. He can't face racism because he's a multi-millionaire and he's an athlete. Anybody can get this work. Anybody can get that work, to be quite honest. It happened to Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre has more money than both Colin Kaepernick and LeBron James combined. And it happened to him on his property. But this is Jiminy Hippo Cricket we're talking about, and he's already been relieved of his position at Fox Sports 1 anyway. I still stand by the fact that I believe that man was fired. A lot of people say, oh, it was just new. Nope, I think he was fired. But anyway, back to Colin Kaepernick. As y'all know, over the years, I have done plenty of videos about this guy. Of course, I slowed down a little bit because there wasn't really much out there. But then I spoke about him briefly in a recent live stream that I did with Seiji Hito, and telling how he has decided that he was going to pay the lawyer fees for the people who was arrested during the protest for this thing. A lot of people were expecting him to be broke. They were expecting this man to be flat broke, destitute, out on his ass, but not even giving them the satisfaction, not realizing this guy had deals on the back end. That's why a lot of people was mad with Nike, and they're gonna burn their shoes up and their Nike products. Y'all purchased it already. Nike already got your money in the bank, and the money that they got, they probably have given it to Colin Kaepernick. So now he has your money. I mean, I know I'm just saying this in a jokingly way, but I could be right. That money just basically is a funnel. It goes in and it goes out. It recycles itself. But yeah, Colin Kaepernick, take a bow. You earned this. You literally, like I said, stay consistent for 4 years and counting. A lot of people, while people counted you out and was hoping, banking that this was just a trend. But you kept it going, even when people stopped. It was even people like getting suspended from schools or getting kicked out of class because they decided to kneel during the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem, or, you know, getting disqualified from sporting events because of this. Like, he has no idea of the legacy he's going to leave behind. I think it was either Jason Black or Professor Black that said his legacy will not be what he did on the football field. It's going to be what he did on those sidelines and what he did off the field. Colin Kaepernick is going to go down in history, whether people want to believe it or not, whether they like him or not. What he did took balls, because he knew what he was risking. He knew he was risking a livelihood. But as you can see, it's not like he's at a homeless shelter, and if he is there to provide for the people that are there, which I'm sure he probably has done. Like I said, he started programs for black youth, black males. He started a program where he was getting suits for young black boys so they could be presentable if they go on a job interview. He was providing book bags to urban schools, you know, for kids who cannot afford to get backpacks for school. But they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that. His consistency is what impresses me. Above anything else, is this man remained consistent. Many people don't know the definition of that word, which is why many people don't know how to do it. But this guy is the embodiment of what it means to remain consistent. A lot of people also say because his girlfriend probably put a bug in his ear, and it possibly could have been that. But at the end of the day, she could have dropped as many bugs in his ears as she wanted to, but he was the one that had to go forth with it. But with that being said, I tip my hat off to Colin Kaepernick. Job well done. But the thing is, that even though it's a job well done, the job is not completed.